am so excited today to be sharing with you this fabulous person that I have met, and she is an awesome speaker. Her name is Chaya Peltz, and her business is Spherical Success, if I'm saying that correctly. And if I'm not, I know she will definitely say it correctly for you. And I just wanted to welcome you all to joining us for another Showcase Your Biz. I'm Renee DiVincenzo. I am a business strategist. I work with you to help you put the right strategy in place for yourself. But enough about me. I want to talk to you about Chaya. And Chaya is a business accelerator and mindset coach. After spending years climbing the corporate ladder in Fortune 500 companies, Chaya left the corporate life behind to follow her passion as an entrepreneur. Today, she guides corporate professionals in successful transitioning into entrepreneurship, helping them build a thriving business that provides financial freedom and flexibility. And I am just so excited to introduce to you Chaya. Chaya, how are you today? And I know, where are you from? You're in New York City.
Yeah. Hi, Renee. Thank you so much for having me today. Yes, I am calling in from New York City.
Whoa.
Right. Smack in the middle of the city, near Central Park. I love it here. It's such a great city.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize you were near Central Park. Wow. Oh my God, that must look really nice around the holiday times too.
It is. And people, lots of times people say, oh, apartments in Manhattan are small. I'm like, but I have this huge backyard.
That's right, you do.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about how did you what was your vision? Like, I know you were like with corporate and with the corporate ladder, but how did your vision come in place to do what it is that you're doing today?
Oh, okay. This is a good question. So I worked in the Fortune 500 companies for many years. I worked
Mhm.
in a totally different area. I was in IT. I was designing software to monitor for insider trading and other compliance regulations. And when I started out in corporate, I loved it and I learned a lot and I climbed the corporate ladder, and it was just a wonderful experience on many levels. And then after some time, and then the industry changed,
Mm.
it sort of became not as fun to work there. There were different things that I thought didn't match me, and I wanted to do something different. But there was a part of me that always wanted to help people. And people would come to me and ask me advice when I was even a little kid. And I thought that was strange because sometimes they were older than me. I was like, aren't you supposed to know the answers? But there was something about me that they would be asking advice. And eventually I said, you know what? Um, I want to be able to give people advice in a way that would help them would be effective and help them grow who they are and accelerate on all areas of their life. And that's one of the reasons I call my company Spherical Success, that I want to help people have abundance in all aspects of their life. And so I went to get intensive training to become a certified coach and understood how to help people, because giving advice is not a good idea, because
Mm.
something that could work for me would not be according to your personality, and you wouldn't be able to pull it off. So if I said, hey, do it this way, and it doesn't match you, you would not take the action steps you need, and then you would not move forward in that area. So empowering people to find their true direction,
Mm.
their true path, their true way of going down the path of success for themselves was a key thing that I learned in my coaching training journey. And then what I realized was that I wanted to not only help people in their personal life, but to create a dream that they had,
Mhm.
to create the life that they wanted, and to be able to create a business which provides them the ROI, provides them flexibility, provides them the dream life that they want. So not only are they changing things in their personal life, which is a side effect of growing a business, right? But they are also growing something, they're creating something of a passion of theirs. And that passion, creating that and putting that out into the world, creates the ROI that they are also looking for. So they're also helping people, and they're also building a life of their dreams for themselves.
When you had that vision to when you actually started your business, how long have you been in business for?
Well, when I first started coaching, I was doing personal development coaching. And then a couple of years ago, I switched over to business because I went to retrain to help people create their business. Yeah.
So some of your clients, and I have to share that you have amazing master classes that are so educational. I've joined a few, and I thought it was so wonderful how you brought one of your clients on to share their story about what it was that you or how it is that you had helped them. So, out of your experience working with your clients, where did you find an area that you find is the how should I say is the an area of change that someone wanted to do but didn't know how to do it? So, can you share a little bit about some of the industries that you work with?
My ideal client are people who are transitioning into entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're leaving corporate to become an entrepreneur, which is something that I've done. When I left corporate, I wanted to build a business, and I got training and I was ready to serve, but did not know where to start. How do I get business? How do I help people know
Yeah.
that I'm available for business? Because you can't just be the best kept secret sitting in your house expecting people to knock on the door, right? So you
Right.
have to get out there. You have to understand how to build those foundational pieces. And so that's a passion of mine, is to help people who are just starting out, whether it's leaving corporate, whether it's their first time, maybe they haven't been in corporate, but they're just starting out and they want to build a business for themselves, or they're switching. Like one of my clients is in a business now, but that business has now become less lucrative, and she wants to create something completely different and something new, and is working with me to figure out what that is and how to build that strong foundation for their business. So I have clients in all industries, in the health industry, in sales, in other corporate venues that they have, different areas in corporate that people want to leave and just create their own thing. They're tired of working in corporate, or they just want to be their own boss. One of the speech pathologists, they've been in the school system for many years, and now they want to leave, they want to change, and they want to create something where they're not working for someone else. They want to be autonomous and create freedom and flexibility in their life. So all paths, all walks and possibilities, and any type of entrepreneurship, what I do is help them build that strong foundation. Because sometimes people just go out there and they say, oh, I can teach this or that, but they don't have the basic structure in place for which to leverage and to grow and scale. So once that's in place in a very solid way, they can expand and grow exponentially and create really great success in their business. So I'm not sure if I answered your question. I think you asked
No,
me.
you did. You actually did, because you also mentioned about people who are, say, still working, but they are going to want to do a new venture for themselves, right? So when you come across either potential clients or someone who does become a client, what are the steps that you find that first needs to be taken to make sure that they're going in the right direction for what it is that they want to do?
It's a great question. So the key piece that I find is the most important, and that I sprinkle throughout my program. I have a special section that we just do that. And then I also sprinkle throughout the program, but I'll elaborate here. So the key piece in entrepreneurship is mindset.
Mm.
And I find that people, especially people coming from corporate, it's a completely different mindset than that of an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's a huge paradigm shift. And sometimes they don't realize how big a shift they have to make.
Right.
You actually have to become a different person. You actually have to start thinking like a completely different person.
Mhm.
I had someone come over and, from leaving corporate and said, yeah, I've been in corporate many years. I can do this. And yes, they can, but
Mm.
they didn't realize the huge paradigm shift that they had to make from the
Yeah.
mindset level in order to transfer over to a success, not just an entrepreneur mindset, but a success entrepreneur mindset, right?
Wow.
So once we did that, once we went through those steps of helping the client understand how to transition over, and they made that shift internally, because that shift has to happen internally, and then you're like this new person, you're not thinking the old way anymore. Then the client said to me, okay, now I understand what you mean when you
Yeah.
said this is a paradigm shift. So I have a module that we just do money mindset. It's like
Mhm.
specifically for money mindset, because when you're in corporate, you're getting a paycheck, right? So you're not thinking about how to sustain yourself as an entrepreneur. It's a completely different way of thinking. So we do that. But throughout the program in itself, people come and bump against obstacles and blocks and internal blocks that they need to address.
Right.
And throughout the program, we do intensive, like addressing those things, because mindset cannot always be addressed at the mental level. It
Mm.
has to be shifted internally. And so if it's a deep shift that needs to happen, I do a deep dive with them, and we do an experiential shift. So the experiential experience, which actually makes the shift internally, and that ripples throughout the rest of their life. It's just fascinating, because even if we're just working on one thing, you don't realize how that one shift ripples throughout your life. Like this client that you were talking about, who made that
Mm.
talk on the masterclass, sends me texts all the time. My relationship with my wife and children has improved, and we didn't work on that, but it's a ripple effect of the shifts and changes. It permeates through your life, and it's so amazing and it's so beautiful, and I get such joy
Yeah.
by giving, because my purpose, I feel, is to help people improve their lives and make it better and more joyful. And so that just brings me a lot of joy.
You hit on a lot of things too. I don't think a lot of people realize like, oh yeah, I want to do a business. I mean, I remember 11 years ago when I started my business, two reasons why I wanted to do a business was one, I wanted to go on vacation when I wanted to, and two, work the hours when I wanted to. Well, little do we know that when it comes to owning a business, you're working longer hours than you are for, say, a 9 to 5 job, right? And it's the same thing too, is that vision, like, oh, I know the name, and oh, I want to do this, but it's like you said, building that foundation. You have to understand the right steps that need to be taken for you to be able to be successful right away, not where you get those hiccups, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or because as much as what you had shared, you never can make a second first impression, no matter what it is that you do, when especially with the business, because the way people perceive you the first time is how they will always remember you by, right? So you hit on a lot about the mindset, because mindset is so important on how we look at the strategy. So for those who are watching, to start a business, is an area that you got to understand. How do I say this? It's like the guidelines, right? When you have a book, like you got to open it up, and then it's like when you want to put a bicycle together, you need the directions. You can't do it without that. So I think that's really a great way that you described it. So when you are putting the information together, to help with your clients, right, on some of the areas. What areas do you find is the common factor that, especially with corporate, right? Corporate is such a different mix. I mean, from the way things are with the bigger picture to becoming this solo entrepreneur. What do you find is the common factor that people who want to start their business fall into? If you understand what I mean by that, is it something that it is like maybe just not being on that schedule the way they need it to be? So do you come across people that you find always do the same thing? Like mine is always time management. I mean, no matter who I work with, it's you got to understand your schedule.
Yeah, time management is a big piece.
Mm-hmm.
I think because when you're in corporate, you're there 9 to 5, you have a structure, and now you're left to your own devices and you don't have a structure. So you have to create your own structure. And there are
Right.
some people like you who have a natural inclination to have that type of structure. And there are other people who are not.
Mm.
So, what I would say is in everything in business, find a mentor. Find a
Yes.
mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's for for time management, the key piece I have learned is your calendar. You have to live by your calendar. You have to create specific blocks of time, and there's a whole technique around it, and you can sign up
Mm-hmm.
for Renee's courses to find out. But you have to create specific blocks of time way in advance, and you have to follow your calendar like it's the end all be all. And when you
Right.
do that, you create a lot of freedom in your business and in your life. So that's a very key piece. But I find that mentorship is so important because I was just having someone on my live show and we were talking about this, and she was saying that she always read a lot of books. She read a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and especially self-help books. And she said, but she wasn't making the changes because the book is just reading it into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have the mentorship who pushes you to make the change
Right.
experientially, then you actually take those leaps. Because she read it, it was very nice, but you don't realize your own blind spots. You don't realize, oh, I'm not doing that. And you have
Right.
a mentor pointing out your blind spot and saying, hey, you're not doing that. How about you take this big leap now? And you're forced to stretch yourself and you're forced to push yourself. So mentorship is great in terms of business for two reasons. One is you could find a lot of things on the internet, but you don't have the direction of specifically in what order and what
Mm-hmm.
specific steps to take. And also when you bump against resistance, you have a mentor who's going to push you through. So resistance in terms of the strategy and also shifting your mindset, because if you're planning to grow in business, there's always levels. There's
Mm-hmm.
levels that you want to achieve. So I reached this level and now I want to get to the next level. And I need the mentorship that's going to help me break through that next
That next step.
level so that I can keep growing. And you always want to keep growing. That's why you're here. That's why you're in business. That's why you're here on this earth, right?
Right.
Keep growing.
Yeah, to make your dreams come true, because a mentor is an accountability. Your accountability to yourself. It's very hard to be disciplined in business because it's you yourself. It's like I always bring up that Jim Carrey movie. What are you going to do? Fire yourself? You're going to beat yourself up. But on that is where having that accountability partner is going to make you follow through. I have found, and I don't know if you have found, the challenging part where sometimes we may feel about getting a mentor is coming across as, oh, they're going to think I don't know how to do this, or it's, oh, they're going to really see what my lifestyle is like, because having a mentor, it's you're getting into that deepness, on there, because that's the only way. Two minds are better than one, as they say, right? And when you have those days that aren't so great, it's like you said, your one client texts you, and it's having that partner. And my question to you is, how do you have a person to overcome about having a mentor, that it's okay. We're not here to judge. Have you found people that have worked with you that might have been challenged in this area?
I haven't, because usually by the time they come, they're like
Hmm.
they're excited that they
Right.
build their business, or they are concerned, like, I don't know how, can you show me the way? So I haven't had that experience, but I
Hmm.
understand what you mean, because that is kind of part of mindset in general. There's embarrassment, there's shame, like, I don't
Hmm.
know how to do this. But that's the whole great point about a mentor, is that
Right.
they help you through those ideas of concerns about shame. Because first of all, if you're hiring someone who's an ethical coach, right? When
Mhm.
I took my certification, I signed a document that I will be ethical. It
Right.
was part of my certification that so it's sort of like a client. It's so funny. I had a call with a potential client yesterday, and she asked me that question. She said, I have something, is it, whatever I share with you, is it confidential? And I said, absolutely. It's
Yes.
same as a doctor patient confidentiality. And if you hire the right coach, there is no judgment, because
No.
we understand that everybody is in the place that they're in.
Hmm.
Someone who never did time management cannot be judged that they don't know time management, because they've never been exposed to it. So there is
Right.
really no shame in that. Someone who's never built a business, how would they know the steps? It's not like, someone who had, for example, someone who had a baby and knows how to take care of a baby is different than someone who never had a baby, who never had exposure to children, right? They
Yeah.
just don't have that experience. So there is really no judgment. And if you
Hmm.
get the right mentor
Hmm.
who is not judgmental at all and understands where you are and is just there to hold your hand and empower you,
Hmm.
then you feel like you could be yourself. You could be vulnerable, because this person is here to help me and guide me.
Yeah. And I believe in that because, between, your experience, in areas that I work with in clients, we've all been there, right? We've walked in the entrepreneur's shoes. And that is the part where we have that understanding to help that person get through what it is that could be holding them back, right?
Exactly.
So it's so important when it comes to personalities. So when you're working with your clients on that, it's that personality. I don't want to say it's a personality test, but everybody is different, right? And there's those four types of personalities, which we all look at it. You have the person that is the one that says, "Just tell me what to do," and leave me alone. Or you have that one that just is like always having a great time, or the one that's really family oriented. Or the way I look at it is, you also have that personality where, they're hanging a picture on the wall, they measure it and they got the hole, and they put it in. I mean, if it's anybody like me, that happy person, you have like 30 holes behind that wall, because I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, we'll try it again. So how do you work with different personalities in your fields? Because you must come across a very broad, very wide area of different type of businesses that use your services.
Yeah. So the one thing I wanted to add about what you just said before was that, yes, it's true that most people who teach something is because they went through it themselves. And
Hmm.
that is perfect to understand the client where they're at, because, hey, I went through this. I struggled through that same struggle. And so
Right.
that kind of creates that rapport with the client and helps them
Hmm.
understand you're okay. So your other question is, how do you deal with different personalities? I don't, I think I was gifted as a young child to be exposed to so many different types of people
Hmm.
that has really helped me. And even in corporate, like, we had, especially in IT, we had all types of people from different backgrounds. And
Right.
then we had, at one point, we were outsourcing to different countries, like India and Philippines and all of that.
Hmm.
So language wise, we had to learn about different cultural differences when you communicate. And also growing up, I was exposed at home to many different cultures. So my parents have all different backgrounds. They speak multiple languages.
Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
So they speak, I heard many different languages. I met all different types of cultures because of my family. We have relatives and friends from all different types of cultures. So
Mhm.
I think that was a gift for me that helped me to understand different people. And I was always very observant. And I love learning about people.
Yeah.
So when people have something different about them, it makes me very curious.
Mhm.
In the past, and I would try to get to, I was like, I remember the first time I went to work in corporate, and I grew up in a very certain type of community. And then when I went to corporate, it was like all these different types of people. And I was fascinated. And I'm like, tell me about like your life. Tell me about how you live. And it was just, for me, I love it and I find it fascinating. So I love the differences in people, and
Mhm.
I love to celebrate the differences in people. And maybe that background has helped me be more accepting and more open to whatever it is that you're here to do. I'm just here to help guide you through this process. And the process that I have is a signature system. So
Mhm.
it is a proven system that can help get you from point A to Z to get the results that you need. And
Right.
so I it's a very structured process, but of course I tailor it to the person, but mostly it's a proven system that works no matter where you are, because we're building that strong foundation.
Yes. And that is so true because I do know that you offer a PDF guide, correct? And it's on the rock solid foundation for your business to achieve your financial goals. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, before we close out?
Sure. So for my business, people lots of times they want to know a little bit more about what it is, like what is in my signature program, what is it that I offer, and how do I help them, and how do they build this strong foundation for their business. And so I created this PDF guide, which sort of gives you the essential elements that
Mm-hmm.
you need to create this strong foundation in your business, that solid foundation from which you can then, once you have that in place, you can grow and scale exponentially.
I'm going to put the important links in the post with this video, so you'll be able to check out her Facebook page, her group. She has a private Facebook group that you could be part of, as well as a LinkedIn connection page with that. Haya, before we leave, why don't you share the message that you would want everyone to walk away with, the lesson that you would like others to know about and to walk away with.
Sure. So, key point, YouTube is coming down the line.
Okay, guys. Yeah.
The message that I would love to share with people is that if you have a passion,
Hmm.
follow your passion. Follow your passion, because a lot of times people feel like it's unreachable. I can't do it, but everyone can be an entrepreneur. The
Hmm.
the things that you need are your passion and your perseverance. And if you have those, you can build the life of your dreams. All of you have that possibility within you. And so trust that and follow it.
Well, I just want to thank you for being my guest for Showcase Your Biz. You had shared so much that we all need to learn about, so we can put these systems in place. So please check out Haya on her social media platforms, and also check out her free masterclasses when you see them posted. They are just absolutely wonderful to attend. And I just want to say that if you are wanting me to showcase your biz, check out my private group, Simplify Your Business Administration. Just become a member, as Haya is. I'd be more than happy to introduce your business, as I did with Haya today. Showcase Your Business every second Friday of each month. And don't forget that every Wednesdays I have my weekly business tips for you to have a better vision of what you want to do, as well as Monday mindsets to help you start your week. So I will also have some information for you about a speaking event which will be, if you're in the Palm Coast Flagler County area, which will be at Loman's at 9:30, Mind Your Business. And also too, I'll be sharing my free masterclass, which is next Thursday, and that is Mastering Business Strategies, Unleashing Growth, and Sustaining Your Success. Chaya, thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you. And everybody, have a great day. Enjoy your Friday and make it a great weekend. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much, Renee.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.